It's the first day of our home reveal, and today I'm thrilled to share my front porch with you. I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. This year the theme going through the house is lollies, candy theme, and red, white and pink are the primary colours. So the front porch is where we've set the scene for that. We created a gorgeous garland, and what I used was one of our pale pink garland frames to create this, and then worked with red, white and pink on there. When I work a bigger garland like this, and I actually use 2 of our 2.7 metre long garlands to create this piece, I always tie the bigger pieces onto the garland first. So all the baubles and the ribbon is all tied in place before it goes up onto the frame. I have permanent cup hooks around the door that we use each year for hanging our garland, because we do find it a lot easier for the outside garland. Once it was in place, we added the beautiful white rope to it, and the rope is something you'll see also in our Christmas tree and is a real beautiful finishing touch to the garland. The garland frames our beautiful double doors, and again, sticking to my lolly theme, I've used 2 of the giant lollipops instead of wreaths on the door. To create these lollipop displays, I've simply bought our larger lollipops and then added beautiful big bows and a little bit of a spray, again just to bring all the elements together. Because of the double doors, I wanted a symmetrical look to the front entrance. So on either side of the door, I've got a beautiful 1.8 metre just lit fairy light tree, and then a pot underneath each one with our beautiful pot filler, and then some lollipops and snowflakes. Again, you'll see the same elements that will work through the rest of the house. And the final element is our rug that we've added to the front door with our chair and a couple of cushions and our throw rug, just to bring that beautiful red and white through, and the blue and white in the rug is part of the sort of Hamptons feel of my home. Welcome to the inside of my home. So this is our entrance hallway, and I always love to decorate this buffet and beautiful oval mirror here. So working with the same theme as I had outside and going right through to the dining table and the Christmas tree, we've got the pink, white and red theme on here. When I do a garland around that mirror, I use 3M hooks. People are always asking how I attach it. They're only about 20 centimetres apart, and I always make sure they go up at least a day before I'm going to set up the garland. The garland is again lit with powered cluster lights, and then I do set up most of this garland in advance. So I've tied the baubles on, I've glued on the larger cupcakes, and then once it's in place, I add the picks to it and the rope to finish it off. Then to just complete the look, I went with a simple installation here with my elf. I have my regular black tray that I got from the store last year, and I use every day. It's normally sitting on my dining table, and I filled it with garland and lit the garland again, and then simply put my elf on there and added the lollipops and the snowflakes that we've got going right through the house. Now this area being so sort of busy on this side, I kept the other side of the hall table a little simpler. I've got quite a busy piece of art that I adore. So I've just got a matching bowl of lollipops, simple lit piece of greenery, and a couple of our lovely stockings with some lollipops in them, just to finish off the look. Okay, so this year we have 2 themes that we're running through the house. So this is our more formal room that we have here, and we've gone with our gorgeous raspberry pop. So navy, pale pink, and just a pop of raspberry to add a little bit of depth to the display. So with our raspberry pop tree, what I've done is used a flock tree to start with. It's a 2.28 metre tree, And we've started with ribbon that we've fed sort of cascading down the tree, which gives it a beautiful shape and focal point to begin with. Then what we always do is we add our tree topper, and poinsettias you'll see are a major repeat through the tree. So we've got a couple of gorgeous poinsettias at the top of the tree, and always love a little spray of picks coming out from there. So as well as the poinsettias in the navy, we've used a lot of gorgeous poinsettias in pale pink, as well as gorgeous glass pale pink ornaments. We also thought that to add just a bit of filler and to keep the tree very soft, we've used some beautiful white glass balls as well. Now you can see that what's then finishing off the tree, and I think what really enhances it is that pop of fuchsia or raspberry that we've got in there. So we've used some really small 4cm size baubles and also our 10cm, and just sparingly spread them through the tree, which just gives you that gorgeous little depth of colour. To complement the gorgeous tree, what we've created also is a beautiful garland. Again, it's a flocked garland. It's 2.7 metres long. It's battery powered, so that makes it really easy to put wherever you want in the home, and you don't have to worry about having a power point. And rather than actually tying in the pieces into the garland, what I've done in creating it is simply laid all of the poinsettias and baubles that match the tree through the garland. I've kept it reasonably heavy to give it sort of a bit of oomph and style. And I've laid it on one of our gorgeous table runners, which is in the French blue colour. So this room has been finished off with our gorgeous Mackenzie Child. I'm a huge fan of Mackenzie Child, and we were delighted to carry some of the holiday range this year. They also are the supplier of the beautiful Patience Brewster, so anyone who knows me also knows I love that range. So you'll see on the coffee table I've got 3 beautiful pieces. They're all the Mackenzie Child base, and then I've simply added the baubles again and the decorations that are on the Christmas tree into the beautiful footed bowl. Then I've created a simple bowl of poinsettias, which just, I love when you've got fairy lights going. The poinsettias just always give a really lovely glow with the glitter that's on them, and I think it's a really nice way to finish it off. And of course the gorgeous reindeer. And finally, on the side table next to the couch, we've got just a gorgeous bowl with our glitter sprays in it. So again, keeping it simple, working with sort of the elegance of the room. I just wanted to add a little bit of sparkle there, a touch of Christmas, and did that just with about 8 or 9 of our glitter sprays in the Mackenzie vase. As our home is quite an open plan, I wanted the main living space to all be the sort of one theme. So I've carried that through, right through from sort of the front door through to the living space. And obviously the centre of that is our dining table here with our Christmas tree next to it. So I thought to start by talking through what I've done on the dining table here. I always love to have a garland down the middle of the table, and when I do that, I always use powered lights. It does mean I have a cord that's coming out the back of my, at the end of my table, and I do then just tape it under the table so that it's secure and no one's going to trip on it. But I like the convenience of having powered lights. It's also brighter than battery, so that's where I always start. So this is just a garland I cut to size as my base, and then I've simply used my ribbons that I've got in the tree and tied that through the garland and added some of the same decorations I've got in the tree. So it's really replicated the look into both spaces. That's obviously quite a busy piece, so I wanted to keep everything else pretty simple on the table and just matching and elegant. So I've gone with plain candles. We've got the pink glasses, but they're simple design of glasses. The placemats, I've got again the pale pink. I've used 2 layers in the placemat, so you'll see that you've got the pale pink placemat itself, then a charger plate in the red, working our 2 colours through, and then your white plates on top. So we're really complementing the theme through everything we're doing there. Again, pale pink napkin on top, and just a simple decoration that we've used that's in our tree with the name tag on it as a way to personalise the space itself. I've got cutlery in a number of different colours that I have for any of my entertaining. So I've used the gold on the table because we also have, at the end of the table, we've got two little beautiful bowls, or cloches I should say, with ornaments in it. Again, the same colours as the rest of the table, with battery lights. And on that cloche, there's a little bit of gold. So I just thought I would finish it off with the gold feel on there. So of course, right next to my dining table, I've got the Christmas tree, and this is the main family tree that we have. We always have it positioned here. This is a 2.28 metre or 7.5 foot tree that I've used. It's our Cambridge tree. I've really heavily lit this, so this isn't pre-lit. I do like wherever I can to have my lights and my tree separate, because it does mean, God forbid something happens to the lights, it means my tree is still fine and I can just replace the lights for it. So I've actually used the same kind of little cluster lights, which are very close together, that I've used on the garlands and on the centerpieces throughout the house. I've actually laid them through the tree. So there's over 5,000 lights on that tree this year. So that gives us a beautiful warmth and glow to start with. Then when we decorate the tree, I always love to start with the tree topper itself. So obviously the lollipops and the sort of candy theme in the red, white and pink is the theme going through the house. So we've used the lollipops in the 25 centimetre diameter lollipop as well as the 20 centimetre size, and sprayed them out at the top of the tree. And then we've decided to also carry through the elf theme with just a couple of elves in cheeky spots through the decorating this year. And so the elf is sitting at the top of the tree there as well. The next thing we always do is use a larger size bauble. So I've used a 15 centimetre diameter bauble in the red, and rather than them being on the outside of the tree, they're actually pushed a little bit more onto the inside of the tree. So you get that lovely richness and depth to the tree by doing that. When we position something like those larger balls, we kind of create a bit of a diamond pattern with the baubles on the tree, and that gives us our base. So tree topper, the baubles, and then we work on our ribbon. So next we like to add the ribbon to the tree. So on this tree what I've done is actually cut the ribbon into pieces. They're about 50 centimetres long, and then we've used bind wire, or you can use pipe cleaners or florist wire, to tie the pieces of ribbon into the tree. I wanted to be able to kind of spread the ribbon wherever I wanted through the tree, so doing it this way gives me real flexibility on how I position the ribbon. And also it means that I don't use as much ribbon in the tree, because if you're winding the ribbon in and out and using long pieces, then you are also using a lot more ribbon. So there was only one roll of each colour that I used on that tree. When you position the ribbon though, just make sure you do sweep the ribbon in and out, because that gives you that extra bit of body and shape to the tree. So once you've got your ribbon in place, your tree topper and your deeper baubles in there, then you've got a great base to work with. So at this point, what you can do is simply add all your specialty pieces. So we've used a touch of black and white on there to continue the black and white theme that we have through the house. But also primarily we've got candy, lolly ornaments, we've got cupcakes on there, and then other decorations in the red, white and pale pink. And finally, the last thing we add to the tree is the gorgeous rope. So these rope are just wired, they're iridescent white piece, and the extra little spiral just gives so much fun and body to the tree, and really I think it's the icing on the cake. It really does finish it off beautifully. Next to the dining area, we've got a gorgeous little bar cart. So what I wanted to do there was just add a simple touch of Christmas and add a little touch of the same theme that I'm running through the house. So you'll see I've got a snowflake sitting on there, a couple of simple green sisal trees, and then I used a candle ring around my ice bucket just to add that finishing touch. We've also got a lovely sign. We've got a number of signs which are again terrific to have in your stash that you can add to different places around your home. The kitchen this year, I decided to make a real feature of my brand new lights because I'm really happy with them, I love them. So what I've done is I have first of all started with those and added some simple garland. I created the garland as a video for you guys, so I actually used a pick and broke it up and tied it together because I wanted something very fine, because I didn't want anything with weight or too heavy for the look. I also then just added an elf to one of them as just a little, extra piece of decoration to the light fittings. For the kitchen benches themselves, we just thought it was cute to show you how you can set a simple breakfast bar using some gorgeous table linen and again layering it up with your 2 layers and the napkin in between. So a nice way to add that finishing touch to your kitchen bench. Then the last piece of the kitchen display that I think is really cute and matches in beautifully with the dining here is the back of the chairs. So we've created 2 gorgeous big bows in our pink and red ribbons, and then again the snowflakes that we've got right through from the front of the house to here is carried through on the chairs. The tier stand we have been loving all year and have been doing quite a bit of work with you guys. The tiered stand I've kept to the same colours, mainly red and white. In this case there's a bit more red and white in the kitchen, and using some of the sisal trees as well as some gorgeous signs, Santa and a gingerbread house to bring it all together. I always like to use a bit of foliage on the bottom of the trays too, just to finish it off. And then I also use some little 3 or 4 centimetre baubles onto that tray to just, again, add those finishing touches and fill any spaces that you might have there. On the kitchen bench, I also have one of our little Ponderosa Christmas trees, and it's a 60 centimetre tall tree. I've powered that again with plug-in lights, so I've got a 3.3 metre string of cluster lights. So the cluster lights are very close together, which is fantastic because you don't have a whole lot of cord you're trying to hide. You just end up with the brightness of the lights and no issues with cords. And simply added a few pieces in the same sort of candy range that I've got through the house to sit with the Ponderosa. So that's our Nutcracker cookie jar and Nutcracker standing piece as well. And then as the final piece as part of that display is the gorgeous gingerbread house that Catherine made for me, which has got the ombre finish roof on it, which is the perfect match for my pink, white and red themed home. I've added a garland around the windowsill. Just again lit it. I like, because everything else is quite busy, to just have some simple elements as well, and fairy lights wherever I can. So that's a 2.7 metre garland with our cluster lights once again. So no worry about having to worry about extra cord, just lots of lights through there. And then I've also run a garland across my range hood and added the snowflake, which we had at the front door as well as on our bar cart there. So we're carrying the same theme through the whole house. As we've got such an open plan home for our main living space, as you know, the entrance area leads straight into the dining and then into our living room. So the living room itself has the Christmas tree, which is across the dining room and the living space. So that is the main feature of that room. And what I've done is just added a few simple elements just to add that touch of Christmas to the room. So I've got one wall where I take down a piece of artwork, and I always like to put some Christmas piece up. And this year I made something with the lollipops on it. And because again, that's a busier piece, I've kept it very simple underneath with a piece of greenery that's been lit with powered lights. I am a huge Patience Brewster fan, so the Santa that I've got here is a piece that I've had it for a number of years, and he always has to have pride and joy positioning in the house. Obviously he's not the same colouring as the rest of the house, but I think it's important to incorporate your collectibles as you want, and he's definitely something that I adore seeing as a main piece in the living room. And then on the coffee table itself, being a busy household, the coffee table is always used, normally with a bit of junk on it as well, so I haven't overdone it. I've used my normal black tray that I normally have there with a everyday display of flowers and vases, and I have just changed that up. I've just put some simple battery powered lights on top of the tray, and then put some foliage on top of that, and then just use 2 of the little Mr. and Mrs. Claus pieces in the blush colouring, which I thought was a nice soft addition to the rest of the house in the pink. And the last room I want to reveal to you is my office. So my regulars know that this is where I do my recording of my Facebook Lives and my how-to videos with you guys. And what I like to do is just change the tree out during the season. So this is actually the third reveal I've done of the tree in this office. It's a slimmer model tree, so it's our slim Cambridge 2.28 metre size. And in the past, I'd always been a fan of lime green balls, but I hadn't really liked emerald. I found they got lost on the tree. But the colour that's come in now is this much brighter green, and I'm just loving it. I think it's fresh. It's still traditional, but it gives the tree a real lift and freshness. So all I've done on here is worked with red, the beautiful bright green flowers and baubles, and then just added a little pop of the tartan ball on there as well. I already had on the tree the ribbon in the black and white, and because I've got a bit of black and white going through the whole house, I decided I would keep it on the tree, and I'm really happy with that as that little pop to integrate with everything else that I've got going on. I've also got just a simple spray again out at the top of the tree. So we've got a couple of flowers at the top with 3 picks, which I find is just a nice way to finish it off without being too over the top. This room is, as I say, used for video, so I keep everything pretty clear. Here we do have the fireplace with a simple Bambi on there. She's been sitting there for most of the season, made that earlier on, and we have a video how-to on that for you as well. My office is where I spend most of my day, and I'm really enjoying the brightness of the green with the red as a change up here. I hope you've enjoyed it too and find some inspiration from what we've been sharing with you. Thanks for joining me. See you soon. Bye.